Today's episode of Necronomipod is brought to you by Beardology. There are a lot of imitators out there, but there's only one place I buy my beard oil. Beardology beard oil nourishes your skin and won't leave you with that greasy feel. With over 17 cents available in their extensive product line, I trust my beard to Beardology. You can find Beardology at beardology.co. Use code NECRO15 to receive 15% off your purchase. Beardology. Discover the best way to avoid the shave. So not one of the best stories we've ever had to tell here tonight.
No.
This one's a little fucked up.
We wanted to do a single killer instead of a serial one, like a single crime.
Not a serial killer, not someone with a whole big track record of all these victims, just one crime and one fucked up one.
Very,
more modern day.
Very controversial.
And he went all the way.
Yeah.
This dude, he went for the gold, man.
Yeah.
He really went for it.
So, well, I guess we'll just get into it here.
Yeah, let's just jump into him. So Eric Clinton Kirk Newman, who would later change his name to Luka Magnotta, was born July 24th, 1982 in Scarborough, Ontario, to Anna Yorkin and Donald Newman. He was raised, well, and this is coming from him too, so... I mean, I don't know.
And as the story will tell us, he's a mega piece of shit.
Yeah, so this is all his accounts of things. So I don't know if you take it with a grain of salt or what, but he was raised in a physically and mentally abusive household, and there was mental illness that ran in his family. His mother, Anna, was obsessed with keeping their house clean and would regularly lock Luka and his two siblings out of the house to keep it clean. He received beatings from both parents, and his mother would go as far as putting the kids' pet rabbits outside to freeze to death as a punishment.
What a fucking bitch.
Well, it's not very nice.
No. That's terrible.
The rabbits didn't piss anybody off, and now they have to freeze to death?
What's worse, that or Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction when she boiled the rabbit?
I've never seen that.
I haven't either.
All right, never mind.
But boiling a rabbit doesn't sound great either.
When she broke in a house and boiled his kid's rabbit.
Jesus Christ, man.
Fatal Attraction, man.
Wow. Do they show it? Or allude to it?
I don't remember exactly, but yeah, that's an old movie.
Well, fuck Glenn Close too, then.
Okay. He did. That's why his rabbit
That's
got
why this
boiled.
happened.
In 1994, his father, Donald, was diagnosed with schizophrenia, which ultimately resulted in his parents getting divorced and Luka and his siblings moving in with his grandparents. I couldn't really find why they had to move in with their grandparents instead of the mom taking care of them, but...
She just wanted the house permanently clean. And
Yeah,
like,
probably best that they don't live with her.
Right.
Well, you would think it would be best.
So be nice to your kids, people. How many stories have you heard of this?
Jesus, we can skip the beginning page of every serial killer or murderer story and just say, guess what? His mom was a fucking twat to him and beat the shit out of him. And his dad also was no good. Let's skip ahead. Oh, he killed some people.
Yeah.
It's definitely part of the soup.
But it's not part of the McDonald's triad or whatever.
No, because then you get dudes like Ted Bundy who didn't have any problems.
I don't know anything about Ted Bundy because we haven't covered him yet.
But it seems like it does play a pretty significant role in a lot of these guys.
Almost all of them.
Yeah.
Almost everyone we've covered thus far, they had some kind of piece of shit mom and or parent.
Yeah.
So it's not always. It's like all people with tattoos are not white trash, but all white trash people have tattoos.
That's a good...
That's a fair statement.
That's a good analogy.
Although some people would call me white trash for watching pro wrestling and NASCAR, and I have not one tattoo. I just explode some brains out there. I'm just saying.
You need a Necronomipod tattoo.
I'll get it at some point. As soon as we get that one person who subscribes to our Patreon at some point for $1,000 a month, I will get a tattoo. Their face on my back. Just kidding.
So things were no better with his grandparents, who would eventually divorce as well while they had custody of the kids. The kids were homeschooled for a period of time.
That's always a good idea.
Yeah, but there's records of Luka attending a normal school for at least the years of 1998 through 2000. Because he was obsessed with his looks and very feminine, he earned the creative nickname of a homosexual slur from his grandparents that people could probably figure out.
Oh, thanks, Grandma, Grandpa.
An F-word homosexual slur.
Yeah. And that's just what he was called, which is like I said, very
way to go.
Yeah, very creative on
Yeah.
Sounds like a loving household.
They weren't very woke.
No.
Of course not.
Somewhere in between 2002 and 2003, Luka began stripping at the Remington's nightclub in Toronto. In 2003, he also started to appear
with the Remington's nightclub, so it was a gay strip club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then in 2003, he also started to appear in what would total as 4 known adult films where he played a straight man who turned gay, and he also started to work as a male escort at this time using the name Jimmy.
Okay.
So he's doing
a very
his thing.
clever escort name, Jimmy. That's the name of your dick, not you.
Well, he got it from...
You get a Jimmy hat.
What? I don't.
You never heard that term before?
Jimmy hat.
What's a Jimmy hat?
A condom.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jimmy hat.
Well, see, you guys educate me, and I educate you on what a skin flute is. So it is what it is.
We look like idiots.
Yeah, that makes sense now that I hear it. Also, so his gay porn, he played a straight man who turned gay.
That's the storyline.
You know, in research for this, I almost Googled it to see what would come up. I did not do it. I don't even know if this was still readily available. They should have pulled them.
I'm not sure.
After what this guy does.
Taking his film work out of circulation.
Yeah, they should have.
Well,
the WWE took Chris Benoit out of a lot of mass circulation at the time. Maybe they should have taken this guy out of circulation.
You still watch Naked Gun.
What happened with that?
OJ.
Oh, sorry. I'm not familiar with that flick.
That made me think of is The Office, when Michael outs Oscar and Dwight puts on the gay pornography on the computer, and Michael walks up and just like takes that breath. He's like, nothing wrong with this.
Nothing wrong with this at all. Also, Dave, OJ was found not guilty.
That's true.
Don't need him owning that Necronomicash. All of that we have flooding in.
Right. So in 2004, Luka got in trouble with the police for the first time when he became online friends with a 21-year-old woman who had the mental capacity of an 8-year-old child. So Luka convinced this woman to apply for credit cards, and he racked up $10,000 in debt under her name. He also videotaped himself sexually assaulting this woman.
Jeez. I like how you put that, like that's the after fact. Like, he racked up $10,000 in her. Also, he sexually assaulted her.
Well, I put that this way because we'll see right here with this. He was charged with fraud, but the charges for the taped sexual assault were dropped.
Was it because she was like 21?
Well, I think the fact that she was obviously mentally handicapped
should have dropped.
Well, I don't know, but later on, after what happens at the end of this story, one of the lawyers involved, a guy named Peter Scully, who worked on this case, said that the Crown's decision to drop the sexual assault charges changed Luka's life, quote, immeasurably, with huge ramifications to our society.
Make him feel invincible.
Well, yeah. I mean, it let him get away with doing something
Sexually
extremely
assaulting
fucked
someone.
up and
You
taping
can rape
it.
someone on tape and nothing happens to you, sure.
That's very interesting to me as to why those were dropped. Like, I'd like to know why.
I mean, it's, I don't know. It's not even just the U.S. I mean, this isn't Canada. There's always these weird, there's like no standards.
There's always loopholes that you can get the stuff thrown out and get stuff dropped.
And there's no, in a lot of these type of cases, you always see these guys get away with something. It's like they slip through the cracks somehow.
Did they actually have the videotape of the sexual assault? Or was this just based on the victim's word of mouth because maybe they deemed her not reliable of a source.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some sort of mitigating factor here.
Yeah. I just know this lawyer that was involved, this Peter Scully, came out afterwards and said it was a huge fuck up on the Crown's part.
Clearly, as we'll get into.
Yeah. In June 2005, Luka pled guilty and was convicted of 4 fraud charges. Before sentencing, his lawyer showed the court a medical report showing that Luka had, quote, significant psychiatric issues. In sentencing, Madam Justice Lauren Marshall warned Luka, saying, quote, you have a medical problem and you need to always take medication. If you do not, your life is going to get messed up.
Pretty straight and to the point.
Yeah, and he was given 9 months community service and 12 months of probation. So, I don't know, it's just a slap on the wrist for raping somebody. But like you said, there's probably some type of something.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if you get a DUI in Canada, you lose your license for like fucking ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're pretty strict on the DUIs, I believe, up in Canada. Maybe our Canadian listeners can correct me or straighten that out, but I feel like they're pretty fucking strict up there with that.
Throughout the rest of 2005, Luka would continue to star in adult films and appeared in Fab magazine under his male escort name Jimmy. In the beginning of 2006, he met a transgendered woman named Barbie, and the two of them would start dating. Later on, she said that Luka would just constantly talk about being famous, and his apartment looked like a, quote, a shrine dedicated to himself.
Sounds great.
Yeah. And if you watch videos of him online and stuff, he's obsessed with, there's some real...
he's as big of a piece of shit as we've covered yet.
There's some major mental illness going on as far as like narcissism and, was it like dysmorphia? Is that when you
body
view...
dysmorphia?
Yeah, there's this major obsession with the way he looks and plastic surgery and stuff like that.
I still stand by he's a piece of shit.
Oh, yeah, he's a piece of shit for sure. Their relationship didn't last long, and after breaking up at the end of 2006, that's when he officially changed his name to Luka Magnotta.
So where'd the name come from? Any significance to it, or we don't know?
He thought it was a beautiful name to match his beautiful body.
It does sound pretty fancy.
Luka Magnotta.
I love the name Luke. I don't like the name Luka.
It sounds like a model, I guess. I don't know.
Reminds me of Luca Brasi from The Godfather.
Yeah?
That's what I think of.
I don't know.
Luka Magnotta.
So in 2007, he starts taking this really weird turn with this whole wanting to be famous stuff. He started to make a ton of social media accounts under different names and plant rumors about himself, about his name Luka, online, which is really weird. One of the main ones he was pushing at the time was that he was dating Karla Homolka. Karla Homolka is a Canadian serial killer who raped and killed 3 underage girls with her husband, Paul Bernardo.
Including her sister.
Yeah.
That's a nutty story, man.
Yeah, that's
maybe a future episode.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
That's rough.
And she has like this weird like celebrity to her, like this like glorification almost.
Like a lot of people thought she was under his like that Paul Bernardo was making her do it.
Yeah, and she's got like this weird like aura or something, like this celebrity.
What do you like a Casey Anthony type? Like
she's not glorified.
Depends who you talk to.
She is in this room.
Like was she an attractive woman? I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll say this for the Karla Homolka episode, but
maybe kind of how I don't even know if it's more than Ted Bundy, because Ted Bundy gets glorified. But people,
so even more than Ted Bundy. That's
has
something.
Like this weird, like almost like a cult following of people.
Where people like love her.
Yeah, it's weird.
All right, let's table that. Maybe we'll dive into her one day. That sounds very fascinating.
It's an interesting story.
Luka attached himself to her for publicity because of this like weird cult following kind of thing she has. So after drumming up these rumors enough to get attention, Luka went to the Toronto Sun to say that he was a victim in this and that the rumors were ruining his life. This is weird.
They go, "Who are you?
Yeah,
what are you talking about?"
The report's probably like. just bizarre. In the summer of 2007, he auditioned for the reality show Cover Guy, telling the judges that, quote, some people say I'm devastatingly good looking.
Some people say.
Yeah, right, buddy.
And the judges rejected him.
He's not even that good looking, right? Like, I've seen pictures of him.
I mean, he's not like, no, I mean, I wouldn't.
He's an okay looking guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's, no.
A- at best. Maybe B+. I mean, I don't know. The photos are out there. People, let us know what you think. Is he a good looking guy? Send us your letter grade. I'll go B+ at best.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd probably say that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
nothing
he's not
special. Nothing that you would ever see and be like, oh my God, that guy's a good looking human being.
B+ pretty good though, no?
I mean, but are you being are you selling your looks on a B+?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
He's no Brad Pitt.
He's no fucking Chris Hemsworth. Let's get it right. He's no Chris Hemsworth.
There's no Captain America.
I will
What's
also
his
accept
name?
Jason Statham. Also a good looking guy. Older
I don't know
man.
who that is.
Badass dude. He's the with The Rock in the new movie.
Oh.
The bald dude.
Yeah, the bald dude. Fucking Jason Statham, motherfuckers. Come on.
I didn't know you felt so strongly.
I love Jason Statham.
Okay.
Also Matthew McConaughey. Continue.
All right.
You don't want to list any more guys that you're
Those are my top three. Maybe those are my top three.
Okay.
Of like what, good looking guys?
I guess so. I don't know. That's off the top of my head. Chris Hemsworth, Jason Statham, Matthew McConaughey.
Jeff Gordon.
Oh, obviously, but come on. I like him a little taller than 5'7".
All right. It's a pretty good list, I guess.
You're damn right it's a good list.
Throw Jake
All
Gyllenhaal
right.
in there. Jake Gyllenhaal's
Oh,
a good
you like
looking
Jake
dude. Yeah,
Gyllenhaal?
he's a good looking dude. Let's
I'm trying to picture Jake Gyllenhaal.
Donnie Darko.
I mean, we give enough girl talk on this. We might as well give some guy talk. It's all right.
I mean, I have nothing wrong
Yeah,
with
Jake
it.
Gyllenhaal. He's a good looking. I don't know. He wouldn't make my list, but he's all right.
He's a
What about you,
good-looking
Dave?
dude.
Who's your man crush? You didn't think we'd go down this road tonight, did you?
No, I was not ready. I'm drawing a blank currently.
Well, you have to pick one from your
I
list.
picked my top three.
Just pick one.
Oh boy, between all those abs, you make me pick one.
Give Dave a chance to think.
Right now, I really dig Jason Statham. He's a badass dude. I love him in The Expendables. What's he in what's the new movie with The Rock? The Hobbs.
Yeah.
What the fuck's that called?
Something Fast and Furious.
You guys are the ones that watch all that.
I haven't seen this new one, Hobbs and whatever. I can't remember the character.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah,
Something like
that's
that?
right.
Yeah, something.
I like Jason Statham.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
I just think he's a badass. Dave's got nothing.
I really don't.
He's
I don't
drawing
know
a
what to
blank.
say here.
All right, well, we'll move on.
It's floating around in the back of my head. We'll come back.
He'll come after. He'll randomly throw out a random name of like, what the fuck you talking about? Like, that's who I want to fuck.
I don't think I'll be making that statement.
So, and then in February 2008, he also tried out for a reality show called Plastic Makes Perfect, where he was quoted as saying, I've had my nose done and I've had 2 hair transplants and I'm planning on having muscle implants in my pecs and arms. And he was also rejected for this show.
And he was lying about having his nose done and the hair transplants, or did he actually get that done?
No. And he describes it in the interview or the audition for this. The hair thing's wild. It's like they took skin from like the back of his head or something. It sounded brutal, like very painful and weird. And he was awake for the whole thing. I mean, there's it's very.
He was obsessed with being famous.
Yeah, he was going to very great lengths to change his looks and get this whole famous thing.
I have calf implants. I got them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't.
No, he did not. No, he did not.
You're on Entourage when Johnny Drama wanted calf implants.
Yeah.
I never watched Entourage. Again, some of us didn't get HBO growing up.
Yeah, I remember that.
If only this guy had a famous lawyer dad who got a famous athlete off of murder charges, he could have been famous for no reason whatsoever and made billions of dollars.
Who are you talking about?
The Kardashians.
Oh, yeah.
He wouldn't even had to fuck Ray J to be famous.
Yeah. Well, maybe still. That still got him started. Still, if only he had a dad that got some famous athlete off of murder charges.
Yeah. So for the next couple of years, Luka, he'd continue this weird thing of making the fake social media accounts to talk about himself until 2010, when the video titled 3 Guys, 1 Hammer showed up on the internet. Three Guys, One Hammer is a video that showed 3 young Ukrainian guys killing a 48-year-old man named Sergei Yatsenko. We talked about this through text through this week. This is a video that I've completely avoided online. I will not watch it. I've heard or talked to people who watched it, and
I will not watch it.
Not for me.
It's so I did see some of it. We will not post it. We will not put it out anywhere. If you find it, if you want to watch it, that's on your own, of your own choosing. It is the most disturbing video I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't recommend watching it. It's fucked up. It is sickening. I regret watching it because it's not pleasant. So, but just to put in perspective, that's what influenced this motherfucker into what he will go on to do.
Yeah.
Like, he got off on this shit. It was sickening.
Yeah, from what I've, because Angie's seen it, I think.
It's awful. It's awful. The sights, the sounds, all of it.
Yeah, that's what Angie said was the sound is terrible, like the sound the guy's making.
Yeah.
He's got like the death
I'm
rattle
not going to go into detail about talking about it, but yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. So just to kind of touch on what this video is exactly is, in the video, the victim is seen lying on his back in a wooded area and is struck repeatedly in the face with a hammer held inside of a plastic bag. One of the attackers stabs him in the eye and the abdomen with a screwdriver. The victim is then struck with a hammer to make sure he's dead. And the attack lasts for over 4 minutes, during which the victim lapses in and out of consciousness. One of the murderers is seen smiling towards the camera during the video, and as they walk back to their car, showing that the crime took place close to the side of a road next to their parked car. They discuss the murder calmly, expressing mild surprise that the victim was still breathing after a screwdriver was plunged into his exposed brain. And then they just wash their hands with the hammer with the water bottle and start laughing.
Whatever happened to those guys? Anything?
Yeah, they got in a lot of trouble. And that's not the only person that they killed. They kind of went on a spree of doing fucked up shit. They just recorded that one. We can do an episode on them. That's a full episode.
I don't know if I want to do an episode on that. It's really upsetting.
Yeah.
Like, and I know the stuff we've covered is very upsetting in the past.
But it's just
some of
filmed.
these skull fuckers and people who are fucking babies that they killed. But the fact that it's filmed and it's like modern day, it puts it more in perspective. Like, it's not pleasant.
No, I mean,
it's including this episode we're doing, this Luka. It's not, and that's what I said earlier. Like, this is more upsetting to me, I think, than anything we have ever covered, simply for the fact that you can see this.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
But it's sickening.
Yeah.
And we've covered, obviously, sickening human beings.
Right.
Lots of them.
The fact that this is more modern day, family members are still alive, this video is still floating around, like, it's disturbing.
I mean, yeah, and it's readily available. I mean, all you got to do is Google it and
we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah.
So Luka shared this video to his Facebook account.
The Hammer guys.
Right. And as this video just circulated around the internet, I mean, it got insanely popular. It's like an internet legend at this point. But so he saw how popular this became. So he started hyping a video from his fake social media accounts called One Guy, Two Kittens.
It sounds as awful as you think it sounds, folks. So if you're not into that shit, go ahead and skip ahead about a minute and a half.
Was Two Girls, One Cup the first video with this naming convention that started the trend of all these videos being named this way?
Probably, because one was the Hammer one. And I don't mean Hammer Time. I wish we were talking about Hammer Time.
Or am I just misremembering that? Is it a Mandela effect that I'm having, thinking Two Girls, One Cup?
Write it down. We might be talking about that soon.
Well,
now I hope we fucking talk about that, or else I'm gonna sound like a dipshit. I think it was, because when was this?
It would have had to been, because these guys, I'm 90.
Two Girls, One Cup, I was in college, and that was pre-08. The Hammer one came out like early teens, 20 teens, right?
Yeah, and I would, I'm 99% sure that these guys didn't name it Three Guys, One Hammer. Someone else named it that, yeah. Like it kind of just got that.
They call
name.
everything that now.
Yeah.
To this, one that.
Yeah. I think
They call this show Three Guys Trying to Sound Relevant. Just is what it is.
Sounding like they know how to run a podcast.
Right.
So I don't recommend watching Two Girls, One Cup either.
I would recommend that over any other video we're going to talk about tonight, though. And I can confidently say that.
Were you guys?
Are you going to disagree with me on that one?
No, I was trying to think of when we watched that at one of our neighborhood parties.
It was the first time I ever saw it. I had never seen it.
Is it you that had never seen it?
Yeah.
I remember someone didn't see it.
It was the three of us standing in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember it specifically, but I remember seeing it for the first time recently because I, much like you with these videos, I successfully avoided it until I drunkenly stumbled into whatever's phone was showing it.
I specifically remember that night because you guys started drinking at like 5 o'clock. It was real early when you guys started drinking.
It must have been a late start for us that day.
Well, then he walked in sober, and I was still sober.
What do you mean, you guys? So I was by myself drinking?
No, it was a lot of people.
People.
I remember because you walked in, and I was like, "You don't even know what you're walking into right now," because you were drinking craft beers. You were smashed.
Woo!
Did I have a soft serve ice cream cone in my hand?
Oh, no. Boo. Terrible comment. Also, people who have not seen that video will not get that joke. Still, of all the videos we're talking about tonight, if you had to pick one, watch Two Girls, One Cup over the other
Don't
ones.
tell people to watch that.
No, but if you're going to pick one video, Dave, what are you going to tell them to watch?
None of them. I don't want to see any of
Well,
this.
I'd rather see poop than what we're going to discuss.
On December 21st, 2010, Luka posted a video titled One Guy, Two Kittens, where he is seen putting two kittens into a sealed plastic bag and then sucking the air out with a vacuum to suffocate them.
Vile.
This video blew up online and sparked tons of websites like 4chan and some animal rights groups to try and figure out who posted it.
Was it confirmed 100% real?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where is he getting these kittens, I wonder?
I don't know. I mean, you can find a cat anywhere, I guess.
Yeah.
Anonymous couldn't find this clown?
Well, they were digging, man. They were pulling all kind of stuff.
He also had changed his name, right, at this time, or about this time?
Yeah. Well, 4 years
around.
before. Yeah, he moved around a lot.
Yeah.
So there was a Facebook group started by a former U.S. soldier named Ryan Boyle, and this was dedicated just to try and find out who made this video because his face isn't shown in these videos. So, but when things seemed to quiet down with trying to figure out who did it, Luka would post pictures from the video, and some of them he would have his face shown. Like he got bold enough to start showing his face just to like taunt people.
Like, yeah, you can't find me.
Yeah, he was getting off on this whole thing of people trying to find out who he was. Rescue Inc., this an animal protection group, posted a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of whoever made the video. The person that was the head of that organization said, quote, "Once somebody starts to open that door, that's when things start to get really dangerous."
That's for sure.
That's an accurate statement.
McDonald Triad.
Yeah, you gotta have something real off in your head to
suffocate
do
a cat in a bag.
Yeah.
Ugh.
To post it online and think it's great.
And then you post your face when people are looking for you.
Yeah. Not long after this reward was posted, a group called the Animal Beta Project started digging to find out who made the video. And when you take pictures and stuff with smartphones, there's always metadata embedded, and a lot of times there's GPS tags. So they were able to figure out it was Luka Magnotta, but they were having trouble to pin him down exactly because he was moving around and there wasn't like a huge paper trail on him. They were able to track some of the metadata to Toronto, and then a police report was opened up on Luka in relation to the videos. And yeah, I mean that shit's wild because I've seen numerous times online where somebody does something fucked up and posts it online, and then usually with the right person involved, usually within a couple hours, it's like, we know who that is.
This was also 9-10 years ago.
Yeah. So now it's a lot.
Some technology, I'm sure, it changes monthly at this point.
Yeah. A year after the video of the kittens being killed was posted, more videos by Luka started showing up. A man wearing a Santa hat is shown in one of them feeding a live kitten to a python. Oof. And then in another one, a kitten is duct taped to a broom handle and then drowned in a bathtub.
That's awful.
Yeah, you got to be a
Fuck
real...
that.
That's sick stuff, man.
Yeah.
I hate cats, but I'd never do this shit.
No, there's got to be some, like I said, something real off with you. Even if you don't graduate to actually killing a person, there's still something way off with you. Shortly after these...
So let me just say, instead of feeding the pussy with the snake, he was feeding the pussy to the snake. Did I say
he's
that
like,
right?
please just let me get this one in. That's what she said.
Instead of feeding his snake to the pussy, he was feeding
The pussy
to the snake.
Yep.
Now that we sounded that one out, it's not funny, actually. It's terrible. It's fucked up. And it only gets worse from here.
Yeah. So shortly after these videos were posted online, The Sun in London published a story about the kitten videos. Luka just showed up at their office and denied that he had made these videos.
So he flew to London.
Well, that's the thing. He bounced all over the place. I think he was just in London, or maybe he flew there. I don't know.
In all fairness, he had that gay porn money. Probably did pretty well.
Yeah, probably.
Had some good cash.
He probably make good money doing that. I don't know.
Maybe he should
I
have posted.
think they do make good money. I really do.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have posted the cat videos from I don't know, Morocco or something, so no one could find them.
Yeah.
So this
If
reporter,
you're smart enough to run away, be smart enough to post your videos from someplace else.
so he spoke with this reporter named Alex West, and this guy described Luka's behavior as, quote, highly suspicious.
Yeah, I bet.
Alex West wrote that, quote, behind the denials, it seemed like he was getting some sort of bizarre pleasure out of the attention. And then 2 days later, threatening emails were sent to the Sun's office. It's not even believed, they were from Luka, that, quote, next time you hear from me, it will be in a movie I'm producing that will have some humans in it, not just pussies.
Uh-oh. Foreshadow alert.
Yeah. The London police were notified, but they said it was out of their jurisdiction. So I don't know what that...
Thanks, London.
I don't know. Is that
Real
because...
troopers there.
Wasn't he in London?
Yeah, but I don't know if it was like the shit happened in Toronto, Canada, so they're like, we can't do anything. That's the only thing I could think of.
But he's posting the threatening video in London, and they're like,
Or it's
no,
a threatening email, yeah.
Not us.
That's weird. But I don't know how all that international
Yeah, I
law
suppose
works.
they probably didn't have jurisdiction. Stop and send a threatening email to the Sun right now and see if the London police contact you. We can test that out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Go ahead.
Like out of our fucking jurisdiction, it's your job, fucking Medina. Deal with it.
So, investigators with the Animal Beta Project received a tip in early 2012 that Luka might have moved to Montreal. The project members began searching through their archive of Luka's pictures, looking for anything that connected him to the city. One photo with unique streetlights caught their attention, and they began to systematically look at Montreal intersections using Google Street View to track one of Luka's pictures to a neighborhood in Montreal.
Pretty good detective work.
Yeah, that's the thing with this online stuff is like people can do some really cool shit, and then at the same time you see people do some really dumb shit, like doxing people that don't need to be doxed and stuff. I've seen, especially with we weren't just talking recording, but Up and Vanished. I've seen on their forum, I've seen some doxing going on. It's like, man, you guys are pushing the limits of that. You're going to get yourself in trouble putting out people's names for no reason, But then there's people that do some really, really cool shit and find stuff out. So as with other times when things started to quiet down a bit with the Animal Beta's project search for him, he started to post more stuff online, and this time he started to promote a new video from fake accounts called One Lunatic, One Ice Pick. On May 15th and May 16th, 2012, there were repeated references made to this new video online, and then all of a sudden, Luka and his fake accounts just went completely silent. At the same time Luka went silent, a Concordia University student named Lin Jun failed to show up to work.
And so this is where this story, unfortunately, gets pretty fucked up.
Very.
Yeah.
More so than the kittens and the torture he did to the animals. We'll be right back.
Look, what are you waiting for? We like to drink beer. A lot of it. After a long night of drinking and talking crime and conspiracies, there's nothing that wakes us up and gets us ready to start the day better than Just Brew coffee. With a great selection of roast levels to choose from, you're guaranteed to find one that suits your style. Small batch roasted to highlight the unique features of each coffee bean, Just Brew coffee caters to both casual and hardcore coffee drinkers alike. Since 2010, Just Brew Coffee has worked tirelessly to perfect the roasting process and technique, which has resulted in seriously delicious, always flavorful, and never bitter tasting coffee. If you're already drinking JBC, raise your mug. If you're not, raise your standards. Check them out in social media and remember, they roast, you just brew. Check out their new online store at youjustbrew.com and up your coffee game today. Use code NECRO15 to receive 15% off your order of 2 pounds or more.
On May 25th, 2012, an 11-minute video titled One Lunatic, One Ice Pick was uploaded to bestgore.com.
I didn't even know bestgore.com was a website until this. I don't know if it still is.
It is.
I highly recommend people be careful clicking on it if they want to go or going to that link.
Yeah, we'll touch on the guy that runs that too at the end. He's a real piece of shit.
I would imagine so.
Yeah. So this video, it showed a naked man tied to a bed frame being repeatedly stabbed with an ice pick and a kitchen knife. Following the stabbing, the video then shows the victim being dismembered and acts of necrophilia. Oof. Also shown in the video is the person using a fork and knife to cut off some of the victim's flesh and then getting a dog to chew on the body. All while the New Order song True Faith is being played in the background, which I can't really think. I mean, I've seen this video along, like when it first came out, but can't think of what song that is.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's not coming to me.
I know the song.
It's an 80s song.
Video, because you guys didn't see the video, did you?
No, I will not watch it.
I saw it when it first came out.
The video a while ago. So I watched it recently just to kind of put this in perspective, and I didn't watch the entire thing because nobody fucking should watch it. It doesn't seem real.
It doesn't.
Like, it seems like you're watching a movie, but you're not. You're watching a human body get massacred.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, it's
like we said for with the Hammer video, like it's the same. Like it's disturbing. I don't recommend watching it. If you want to, it's out there. Now, I had a little bit more trouble finding it, but I don't know the dark webs quite like you do, Ian, when your Reddit pages and shit. I had to Google and really search for the video.
Yeah, Best Gore took it down.
Probably rightfully so. It was a fucking murder.
They got in trouble.
Yeah.
We'll kind of touch on that a little while later, but yeah.
Either way, it's out there. You can find it,
yeah.
And it's not pleasant. I don't recommend it.
So the Canadian authorities later said that they obtained an extended version of the video where they alluded to cannibalism taking place as well.
Was that version ever released by anyone?
No, not that I know of.
That's good.
At 11 a.m. on May 29th, 2012, a package containing a left foot was delivered to the national headquarters of the Conservative Party of Canada.
I have to say he really went out on a limb here.
Dave, do you think it was the right foot that was sent to the Conservative Party?
I hope
and
so.
the left foot was sent
No, it says right here, left foot.
Yeah.
God damn. Well, he fucked it all up, didn't he? He didn't do anything right. Unless this was his way of uniting the country.
Well.
Is there a metaphor involved in here somewhere?
The left foot to the right side and the right to the left.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm wondering if that was his actual intended purpose.
It was not. I don't believe it was.
So this package was stained in blood and was marked with a red heart symbol. Another package containing a left hand was intercepted in a Canadian post-processing facility, and it was addressed to the Liberal Party.
I mean, you got to hand it to him. It's creative.
It's something like out of a movie, though. You know what I mean?
Like mailing the stuff?
Yeah, it just seems like it's way over the top.
Did they use this evidence to finger him for the crime?
Oh, boy. He sent a left foot and a left hand to the Liberal Party. So clearly he's not making any statements here.
No, this is just an asshole that's thinking he's clever here.
I know.
A janitor discovered a decomposing torso that was inside a suitcase. that was left in a garbage pile in the alley behind an apartment building in the Snowdon area of Montreal. He saw the suitcase first on May 25th, but didn't pick it up due to a large amount of garbage that day.
Lost luggage. Who'd ever thought?
After searching the scene, police recovered human remains, bloody clothes, papers identifying the suspect, as well as, quote, sharp and blunt objects from the back alley. Footage from the surveillance cameras inside the building showed someone bringing numerous garbage bags outside, and the images matched the suspect who was captured on video at the post office in relation to sending the packages.
So he's not real slick at covering his tracks.
No, not at all.
But he also, when he's sending his videos out and they're identifying where it was sent from, and he's showing his face.
He wanted to
like
be
he
caught.
liked the fame.
Yeah. He wanted to be caught. He wanted to go down as this.
He wanted to be famous in some way, shape, or form.
Like this maniacal.
No matter what. Yeah.
If he couldn't do it with his looks or with his porn, he wanted to do it with killing people.
Yeah. So police searched the apartment number 208 of the building, which was Luka's apartment. He had moved in 4 months earlier, and his rent was paid up until June 1st. The apartment had been mostly emptied before he left, and blood was found on different items, including the mattress, the refrigerator, the table, and the bathtub. Written in red ink inside of a closet was, quote, "If you don't like the reflection, don't look in the mirror. I don't care." So, I mean, I'm not giving this guy any sympathy, but there's obviously some, well, we already know, but there's some major mental illness going on here with the narcissism. And I mean, this quote would make you assume some kind of, I don't know, like inner struggle with all this stuff or whatever,
I would think so. If you guys accidentally killed someone, you think you'd be able to chop up the body to get rid of it?
No.
But I also don't know. I couldn't put myself in the mindset of killing someone either.
That'd just be accidentally.
I don't think so.
No?
Because if it was accidentally, then when you're cutting it up, obviously that's a deliberate motion. I don't think I could do that. I don't know.
Unless you're what's-his-face from that HBO documentary. Remember that? The super rich guy that was living in that apartment, and what the fuck was that called?
Oh, I know.
He chopped that guy up and then got away with all of it. Pretty much got away with killing his wife too back in the day.
Yeah.
Can't remember that guy's
Robert something.
Yeah.
And like they caught him on a live mic when he was taking a piss or something when they were filming the documentary.
At the very end, the last episode. Yeah, he was in the bathroom pissing and was like talking to himself and basically admitted that he killed his wife. Yeah. It's weird. He's from that like real wealthy like hotel company.
DuPont? No, that's the other.
No, that's the guy who killed the wrestler.
Yeah.
That's a really good documentary too.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah, but that's what
I can't remember his name.
No. So on May 30th, 2012, it was determined that the body parts belonged to the same individual, later identified as Lin Jun. The suspect in the case was quickly identified as Luka, who by then had taken off. A note was found with the package sent to the Conservative Party saying that 6 body parts had been distributed and the perpetrator would kill again. The other 3 packages also contained notes, but what they said that's never been released due to fears of copycat crimes. Because, I mean, Luka Magnotta, he has this whole internet fame too. You know, I mean, he did accomplish what he was looking to do, unfortunately.
Robert Durst is the guy.
Yeah, that's his name. That's a great documentary series.
It's nuts.
Yeah. On May 31st, 2012, Interpol released a red notice for Luka at the request of the Canadian authorities. And for several days before and after his arrest, his name and photo were displayed all over the Interpol website. The red notice requested that Luka be arrested and extradited back to Canada.
Red notice because all the blood?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It kind of sounded like a thing that they just put out to any countries involved and just say, if you find this guy, but that name is kind of cryptic.
It's probably the highest alert.
Luka booked a ticket for a flight from Montreal to Paris on May 25th using a passport with his own name. After he arrived in France, his cell phone signal was traced to a hotel in Bagnolet, but he had left by the time the police had arrived. He used a fake passport with the name Kirk Trammell at a hotel, and he had contacts in Paris from a previous visit in 2010, and police were following a, quote, large framed man who had been in contact with Luka. Another man he stayed with for 2 nights didn't realize who he was until he had left, and then he boarded a bus at the Bagnolet coach station headed towards Berlin, Germany. So it's that part interested me too, because I didn't really see any more about that, like any of these like kind of accomplices that he had in Paris.
Helping him out.
Yeah, I didn't see anything really
it's good, 'cause
further about that.
Nothing bad ever happens in Germany, so you'd be safe there.
On June 4th, 2012, Luka was apprehended by the Berlin police at an internet cafe while he was reading news stories about himself.
Of course he was.
Yeah. So he tried giving fake names before admitting to who he was, and his identity was confirmed through fingerprint evidence. Luka appeared in a Berlin court on June 5th, 2012, and according to German officials, he didn't oppose being extradited. And they had sufficient evidence to keep him in custody, but he just agreed to just go ahead and simplify the process.
Like a videotape?
Yeah.
Pretty sufficient.
Also on June 5th, a package containing a right foot was delivered to the St. George's School, the St. George's School, and another package containing a right hand was sent to False Creek Elementary in Vancouver.
Do you think they had like student helpers opening the mail?
I think the elementary one I read about was like secretary, like whoever would sit at the desk at the school,
right,
got the package and was like, it's like started to open it up and it smelled like a dead body, like it was rotting. Yeah, not great. On June 13th, the 4 limbs in the torso were matched to Lin using DNA samples from his family. And then on July 1st, his head was recovered at the edge of a small lake in Montreal's Agrenon Park after police received an anonymous tip. And that's the other one, including his whoever was helping him out in Paris. Like who? I mean, I guess you could have found a head and like anonymously called in him, but it just seems weird. Like, I don't know, it just seems odd.
So he saved the head for last.
Yeah,
I think he was just trying to save face.
Or did somebody like drop?
Stop it.
But the head was found like way after. Like I wonder if somebody else was in on this or something.
Well, it's kind of like 7, right? When they delayed mailing the head till.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only saw that one time actually, a long time ago. I need to rewatch that. That's a good movie.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
So he agreed to be tried by a judge and jury, and he pled not guilty. And he admitted to what he had done. I mean, it's on video, but he he claimed diminished responsibility due to mental disorders. So the Crown, they made their opening statement on September 29th, 2014, and Quebec Supreme Court Justice Guy Cormier presided over the trial, and it lasted for 10 weeks. On the opening day, he instructed jurors that Luka, quote, admits the acts of the conducts underlying the crime for which he is charged. Your task will be to determine whether he committed the 5 offenses with the required state of mind for each offense.
So the attorneys are not trying to convince them whether or not he did it, whether or not he was of the right state of mind.
Right.
Kind of a different look at a trial than what you typically see.
Because
he already admitted to it.
Yeah, he's going for just the insanity plea, basically.
Which, I don't know, this seems like a insane person.
I mean,
I think he knows right from wrong, though.
Yeah.
It seems to me like he was trying to just get famous.
Yeah.
I definitely think there's some underlying mental health issues, but I don't know. I guess that's what the jury's for to decide.
Let's see what happens.
So there were 6 tools, a pair of scissors, 2 knives, a screwdriver, an oscillating saw, and a hammer were recovered outside Luka's apartment and analyzed by ballistic experts. He said none could be definitively linked to the killing, and no skeletal marks suggested the screwdriver or scissors were used, but some were consistent with the saw and a knife or X-Acto blade injuries. Which that's just, I don't know, the X-Acto thing. gives me the chills. Exacto blades are fucking sharp and tiny. And,
Oh, horrible. Well, he already admitted he did it. What do we need all this ballistic stuff?
yeah.
I guess it does all prove a picture in the end. Like if you're the prosecution, you want to show how premeditated it was.
Okay,
and
that makes sense.
with the instruments he used. It wasn't just a random act of
Like I grabbed whatever I could.
Right,
Maybe he
like
went out
he-
and purchased this.
sure, yeah. I think
Okay.
so. I think that makes sense.
During the trial, defense attorney Luke Leclerc argued that Luka was in a psychotic state at the time of the crimes and couldn't be held responsible. The Crown argued that the murder of Jin Lin was organized, premeditated, and that Luka was, quote, purposeful, mindful, ultra-organized, and ultimately responsible for his actions. And he didn't testify in his defense.
What the fuck's he gonna say?
Yeah.
Honestly, you think this guy would testify just to get up there and have the spotlight
That's true.
on him
Yeah.
for a little while, you know?
That's
have
true.
the cameras on him or whatever.
Yeah, because that's what when we do Ted Bundy's an episode on him, and that was like his shining moment
yeah.
to get
He
up
loved
there
it.
and defend himself, fire his lawyers, and that was his time to shine.
Isn't he from the Pacific Northwest? I'm just kidding.
Did he kill people in Florida?
Fuck, you tell me, man.
You didn't. You obviously didn't listen to the last episode,
not.
or remember what we said.
No, that's the exact joke we said, right? I said he was from there, and you said, didn't he kill people in Florida? And what did I say? No.
You had a whole week to look it up, and you still don't know?
Yeah.
No, I say it for the podcast. People like to hear me learn on the show. They've told me all about it. The millions of fans I talk to every day.
Yeah.
They said it's tremendous. It's great. They love me hearing it, learning on the show.
So, during the trial, defense witnesses provided evidence that Luka had been diagnosed with schizophrenia as a teenager, but defense expert Dr. Joel Watts testified that Luka showed signs of episodic schizophrenia, histrionic, borderline personality traits, and paraphilia.
What is paraphilia? All right, so I looked it up. Paraphilia is a condition characterized by abnormal sexual desires, typically involving extreme or dangerous activities. Pretty fucking close to what we're talking about here.
Yeah, pretty much.
I would say.
Yeah.
So the prosecution revealed that Luka had been using illegal drugs during his teenage years, which led to symptoms that mimicked schizophrenia, and that he had been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder by Crown expert Dr. Joel Paris at the Jewish General Hospital in Montreal in April 2012. So Dr. Renee Roy, the forensic psychiatrist who had been treating Luka at the Riviere des Prairies Detention Center since November 2012, and she was treating him through his preliminary hearing right up until his trial, diagnosed him with borderline personality disorder with histrionic features. And what did we say histrionic was?
Histrionic personality disorder symptoms are they have an overwhelming desire to be noticed and often behave dramatically or inappropriately to get attention.
So yeah,
That fits also.
Again, we're right in the definition for this piece of shit.
Dr. Gilles Cumberland was another Crown expert who was not able to interview Luka, but diagnosed him with antisocial, histrionic, and narcissistic personality disorder. A number of psychiatrists over the years noted that he displayed antisocial, borderline, histrionic, and narcissistic traits, and the prosecution accused Luka of pretending to be schizophrenic because he was saying shit like witches told him to do this, like really dumb shit.
Oh,
You think he was playing it up though?
Oh yeah, he was faking that. He's just a
Piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean there was a bunch of different psychiatrists. I mean we just kind of went through all that. I mean it's everybody kind of had a little bit of a different opinion, but it was this borderline personality disorder and basically just.
But I mean, at that point, you're just going to start throwing out whatever to see if something sticks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What other choice do you have?
After a 12-week trial, which included 10 weeks of hearing testimony, the jury of 8 women and 4 men received final instructions from the trial judge on December 15th, 2014, and was sequestered before beginning its deliberations the next day. On the 8th day of deliberation, they returned a verdict of guilty on all charges. Luka will serve a mandatory life sentence and will be eligible for parole in 25 years. He was also sentenced to 19 years for other charges to be served concurrently. He filed an appeal for the convictions to be thrown out and a new trial ordered. The appeal was filed by his defense counsel, Luke LeClaire, citing judicial error in jury instruction. The appeal further claimed that the, quote, verdicts are unreasonable and unsupported by evidence and instructions, but Luka withdrew his appeal on February 18th, 2015.
So he's serving, 25 years?
And then he'll be eligible for parole. But I doubt he would get out.
It's Canada, you never know.
He's serving a life sentence, but in 25 years, he'll be eligible for parole.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope he never gets out.
He seems like a very dangerous individual.
Yeah.
This is one
He's going to keep himself in the spotlight.
Where, you would weigh it and you say, yeah, this guy will definitely kill someone again.
Yeah.
Or do something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting fella. I don't think I
something
heard
else,
about this
man.
story before.
I remember it when it popped up back in the day. Because I'm always on 4chan for the paranormal board, but I do remember someone like cross posted this to the paranormal board. That's how I found
Like his videos and shit?
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, 4chan is an extremely toxic place,
I can imagine.
But the paranormal board is where it's at. There's some good shit on there. Sometimes.
But that's the legit part of the board, the paranormal.
I don't know if I call it legit, but it's
look at all these shows it's spawned to date.
It's a fun. I like the paranormal board.
Yeah, I feel great after that one.
Man, major piece of shit.
The videos we discussed in this story are fucked up.
Yeah, and the guy that owns bestgore.com, he's a Canadian citizen. He got in trouble for...
Oh, that's right. You say you were going to talk about him.
Yeah, he got in trouble for allowing this to be on his website. He was sentenced with...
He was criminally charged for this.
Yeah, because he's a Canadian citizen. In Canada, you can't...
Dude, Canada's fucking tough, man.
You can't fuck around with this kind of shit.
I don't think this guy... Luka's never going to get out of prison. Of course, they're not going to kill him. They're not going to kill him, but...
do they have the death sentence in Canada?
I don't think they do.
I don't think so.
No.
They don't.
So the owner of bestgore.com, his name's Mark Merrick.
They're going to say Mark Maron. I was like, get the fuck out of here, Mark Maron.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's a charge. It's called corruption of morals in Canada. So that's what he was charged with.
They might charge us with that.
Yeah, seriously. Just for telling the story.
He
This podcast wouldn't exist in Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't talk about Blumpkins up there freely. It's a corruption of morals.
We have a lot of fans in Bangladesh, though. I'm guessing that
We do.
we're
Do we have
corrupting
any
morals.
Canadian fans?
Yeah, I think they're like number 2 for who listens to
Really?
us the most. Yeah, I think it goes U.S., Canada, U.K., and then Australia.
We got cool fans.
That
in
Australia contingent's pretty strong,
yeah.
man. They're hitting us up all the time. I love that.
I want to go to Australia. That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
we got some good Australian fans.
So yeah, this
Shout out to you guys.
right.
Hell yeah.
Maybe they'll host us over there.
They'll
We
listen
can
to
go
this 24 hours later, when it gets released over there, because everything's late over there or ahead. They actually already heard this episode. We're recording it right now because it came out 24 hours ago. They're ahead of us, right? They're ahead of us. So they already heard this. They know what the fuck I'm going to say next.
You're jumping through
Shit.
dimensional portals over here. Time travel.
Cheers to all Australian listeners.
So yeah, he was charged with corruption of morals for posting this and allowing it because the police asked him to take it down and he wouldn't, and so he got.
Oh well, that's on him then too.
Yeah, he's a major piece of shit. He got. He only received probation for this, but here's a
For
quote.
posting a murder on his website.
Here's a quote that'll just tell you how big of an idiot this guy is. Because he claimed that he didn't get any, he didn't receive any bump in views to his website for having this
I'm
video.
sure.
That's one of the things. But yeah, and he's also a person in this quote. He uses the term sheeple, and if you use the term sheeple, you're immediately a jackass, in my opinion. So yeah, so he said you can take the publishing of the chainsaw beheading by Syrian rebels propaganda team who claim that this atrocity was committed by the people behind President Bashar Assad. The video stirred major outrage in the ranks of the sheeple, but it did not fool anyone on Best Gore because we know where the video is really from. It's been on Best Gore since before the Syrian fraudulent revolution started. We have its full version, including original audio, and know it's from Mexico. It was the same when Best Gore busted the rebels about publishing the domestic gas leak explosion, which also manipulated into looking like the aftermath of alleged indiscriminate bombings by rulers. Or most recently, when the whole world was revving about Muslims being slaughtered by Buddhists, the propaganda fooled everyone except for us on Best Gore because we recognized the lynching video from Kenya, the earthquake in Tibet, and the tsunami disaster in Thailand, which had been used in unrelated context. That was his defense statement for why he left this video up. So he's a real asshole.
Maybe I'm just drunk, but did his answer have anything to do with actually why he left that video up?
No, it sounded like he's just saying...
He just rambled.
Yeah, that they...
about world events.
Basically, that Syrian shit, whatever, is all fake, and they figured it out because...
So that allows you to post a real video of someone getting murdered.
Well, I mean... He's just an idiot.
I'm not following that one.
Yeah. All right.
So,
well, this is
Ian, thanks for that great story.
Yeah.
That was a real feel-good one.
I'm going to sleep great tonight.
Yeah. Dave, you got anything else to add to Luka Magnotta?
I do not. It's pretty fall.
It's not a pleasant story.
No.
Ian, you got anything?
No, I'm good. I'm good on this one. Thank you to everybody who's been listening, keeping the downloads going up. It's much appreciated.
Like we said, we had a great July last month, and hopefully have a good August here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube at Necronomipod. Please reach out to us if you want to give us a shout out or let us know what you think about the shows or have a request for a topic that you want us to cover. We love to hear from you guys. We like to get some feedback, good or bad. YouTube's usually where all the bad shit goes, and we'll just block your ass on that. So who gives a fuss? But any of the other socials, we have some great listeners on all the other ones. We get nothing but good feedback on all that. So reach out to us, let us know. And then if you're on iTunes, please rate, review, and subscribe. Let your friends know if they could subscribe as well. That really goes a long way in helping us. So.
All right, you guys ready for a cool down beer?
Cheers.
Let's go.